Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jaime and I am the Kansan Reader. I recently did a video of not liking my friends' favorites, but here's the thing. That list is so much shorter than all the books that I loved of my friends' favorites. So I had to kind of condense it down, and thus this video. I own 2 books physically. I think I got most of these books through Kindle or Kindle Unlimited, and a couple from my library. That being said, the first book, Mistborn, or better known as The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. So, look at how tabbed I have that. I didn't think I was going to like this. I was very intimidated by it because this is a beloved book, and not just this, but all, what is it called? The Cosmosphere? His world is very, very well loved, especially in the fantasy side. And I can see why. The writing's amazing. The world building's amazing. Absolutely love this. Now, I only rated it 4.5 stars because it did take me 3 tries to finally get into this book. Also, I had to get the audiobook to get past a certain part for me to finally get the ball rolling. So, 4.5 stars. Next up, I got this book from the library. I plan on getting the rest of the series from the library, but this is Redemption by Karen Kingsbury with Gary Smalley. Yes, Gary Smalley. This is the first book in the Redemption series. We follow very closely. I didn't write down the family. Oh no. There's a family we follow in this, and the first book is one of the daughters. And we follow her as her marriage is basically crumbling. Her husband comes home and says, hey, I'm in love with someone else, and he wants a divorce. She says, no, I'm not going to give you a divorce. And it goes from there. I love the faith content in this. I really didn't think I was going to love this as much as I did. I even rated it 5 stars. Book is Just As I Am by Mandi Blake. This is my second Mandi Blake. It is the first book in the Unfailing Love series. I rated it 4 stars. Absolutely loved it. Loved the Heronian and the hero together. I loved that romance. It was a slow... Well, actually, no. Was it fast-paced? It might have been. And the other Mandi Blake book I read was the more slow burn. Either way, love the characters. This story does have domestic violence in it, so trigger warning there. Wisteria House by Jennifer Q. Hunt. I do have the 3rd book on my Kindle. I'm so happy. I love this series, and I just can't wait to get to that 3rd book. We follow the Rutledge family in the 1920s. I've rated both books 4 and up stars. Absolutely loved. The first one, I want to say, we follow Arlie, and then I think the second, in the first one we follow Arlie. In the second book, I think his name is Davis. Editing Jaime will confirm if that is right or not. But we have strong women, we have great faith content, we have we have 2 cute little kids. And yes, it's just absolutely, absolutely amazing. Also, you get representation with, back then it was called Shell Shocked, but we better know it now as PTSD. So we do get some representation in that. Next, To Bring You Back Home by Emily Conrad. I rated this 4.5 stars. This is a second chance romance and one of my favorite tropes, redemption arc. I love a good redemption arc, especially if the man was a previous bad boy. Absolutely love. Anyway, this was just chef's kiss. There's one thing that happens in the past that I wasn't a complete fan of, so 4.5 stars. But again, I absolutely loved it. Understand why all my friends love it. I do plan on continuing the series. I do have the second book on my Kindle. One is Mind Games by Nancy Mehl. This was my favorite of the entire series, which the series is called Profiler Kaylee Quinn, or maybe it's Kaylee Quinn Profiler. Either way, it's a trilogy, and I absolutely loved this book. I did get this book through Kindle Unlimited. I got the second and third books on Audible, so I listened to those through audiobook. The third book is not my favorite. I do like the second book, but this book just really blew me out of the water. I loved the mystery in it, and you also follow Kaylee, who she profiles a very, very peculiar way, and she tries to keep that from people because people do judge her for it. But yes, we also follow her with her if I can talk. We follow her with her partner Noah. Next one is The Golden Goal by Annah Conwell. This is the lowest rated book on this list, but I actually put this on here for certain reasons. It's one of the few rom-coms I absolutely loved. I loved the banter in it, and I rated it 3 stars. I love the banner in it. It is a hockey romance. This is more, I think, rivals to lovers, if I remember right. But I was here mostly for the banter. Next is the other book that I have, and that is The Reckoning at Gossamer Pond by Jaime Jo Wright. And also, can we talk about Jaime Jo Wright's covers? Because they're just always absolutely chef's kiss gorgeous. I think this is probably one of my favorite, but don't count me on that, because I mean, I do plan on owning all of her books at one point because the covers. Also, this is tabbed up as well. I love the past more than the present in this, but it's still amazing. I love the mystery. Also, you follow Tent Revival, which Tent Revival isn't talked about much. And for those who don't know, Tent Revival was back in the... Actually, there's still some tent revivals going on today, but it was definitely more heard of back then. But it was preachers going around, and they preached out of tents and had, obviously, big revivals. So you follow that, and you follow the two brothers. I really loved how she had me on my toes through this book, because I was like, oh, it's so this guy. Oh, it's so this guy. No, it's not. It was not that guy. I don't have this book physically. I do plan on having it physically, but it is Echo Among the Stones by Jaime Jo Wright. Again, this cover, so gorgeous. But this was my first Jaime Jo Wright book. I loved both timelines. I loved the build-up of this mystery. I think some people say this is probably their least favorite out of all of them. I might be wrong on that one, but this, I just absolutely loved it, and it made me hooked on how Jaime does the dual timeline. I'm not normally a dual timeline girly, so this was very surprising on how much I absolutely loved it. Next is the Ilyon Chronicles. So, this was part... Also, wanna include Echo Among the Stones. Last July, I had written out different synopses of books that I had on my Kindle and put them in. I think I just had a little baggie at the time, gave it to my husband, had him look through them, and then he would choose my book for me. And I do plan on doing that on here as one of my TBRs at some point. But almost every single book he chose was a 4 and up stars. Echo Among the Stones was a 4 stars. Ilyon Chronicles, the whole series is a 5 stars. I absolutely fell in love. I questioned if I was gonna like this because I'm still new to Christian fantasy. This blew me away. I wrote down amazing romance with a slow build throughout the entire series. You got Christian persecution and dragons. Okay, do you need anything else after dragons? No, you don't. Alaskan Courage by Dani Pettrey. This was my first series by Dani Pettrey. Actually, this is my only series by Dani Pettrey. I have not, I haven't read anything else of hers yet, but I did half and half, half on Kindle and half my local library. So the McKenna family with this book. The first one is the oldest sibling, and you get a second chance romance. You also get like a Russian mystery plot. Again, absolutely love it. You will also have a lot of outdoor activities with the McKennas. They do diving, they do rock mountain climbing. At one point they do, they go, like, help out cruise. I'm totally blanking because the McKennas own an outdoor shop and guide. They do guide stuff. So kayaking, all that. If you're an outdoor person, you'll probably love this series. And if you love mysteries, you'll love the series. The 5th book, which involves dog sledding. For some reason, I wasn't the biggest fan of that book. That is my second lowest rated book on here, which is a 3 star, but the rest of the series was 4 and 5 stars. Was Wonderland Creek by Lynn Austin. I rated this 5 stars. I don't think I've rated a Lynn Austin book under 4 stars. I just absolutely love her writing. This, I think, is possibly my favorite book of hers to date. We are in the 1930s, and our girl Alice is a city girl from Illinois. But when she loses her job as a librarian, as well as gets dumped by her boyfriend, she decides she's going to take these books that she was going to donate down to, I think it's Acorn, Kentucky, Eastern Kentucky, up in the mountains. She goes down there, and it is a whole different world for her. We're talking rural. They don't even have indoor plumbing, so your spoiled little girl has to learn how to deal with, what is that called? Roughnecking it. I still don't think that's what it's called, but she has to learn how to rough it. And at one point, she even becomes what is called a pack horse librarian. She goes up into the mountains and delivers books to the families that live up in the mountains that can't come down to the library. Absolutely love this. And the romance is kind of cute. So, Counted with the Stars by Connilyn Cossette. I 5-starred this. This was so amazing. Absolutely loved it. And I can say with the most sincere heart, I had a total different outlook on the story of Exodus now. She makes up an Egyptian girl, and you get the plagues through the eyes of an Egyptian girl. And you also not only get to see the plagues, but you get to see the amount of the devastation through this Egyptian girl's eyes of what the plagues actually do. And it just put that in perspective of someone who would not know the one true God, who grew up knowing these just false gods, and also being trying to think how to say, being able to try to figure out what's going on. Just absolutely loved this book. Next I have on here is Lady Jayne Disappears by Joanna Davidson Politano. I think that's how you pronounce her name. I rated this a 4.5 stars. This is 1800s, and sorry, I had to move for Miss Queenie, but this is 1800s. Her father was in debtor's prison, and what's her name? Is it Arlie? It is Arlie. It's just spelled different than the previous Arlie. She is in there with her father. She has no idea who her mother is. Her father is an author named Nathaniel Droll. That's his pen name. And he ends up passing away. She takes up the name and continues with the story, but she has to go back to her father's family's house, which she finds out her father's family is very wealthy and very well off, but for some reason they like wrote him off, and she has to figure out why, and also figure out Lady Jayne, who is her mom, what happened to her, who she was, and all of this. If you're not big on like family drama, family secrets, this might not be for you, but if you are totally for that, this is the final book I'm going to talk about is In the Field of Grace by Tessa Afshar. Gave this a 5-star. I didn't know if I was going to like this, but I have found 2 authors that I definitely trust for my biblical fiction, and that is Tessa Afshar and Misu Andrews. Their research is so chef's kiss. I hope they have a whole team that helps them because of the amount of research they have to do. But this is the story of Ruth and what it could have been like to be Ruth. She does stick very close to the Bible story. I'm very grateful for that, because if she was going to veer off a little bit, I was going to be like, ew. But she just gives it more of a fleshed out feel, but by no means does this replace scripture. It's a beautiful story. I loved it. Now, I will say I don't remember it giving quite the full hit of the Kinsman Redeemer, like the actual biblical book does. But, I mean, you can't surpass God and His Word, so I don't hold that against her. This is my list of books that my friends loved, that I absolutely loved, if not fully adore. Have you read any of these books? Are they your favorite? If you did not like one of these books, let me know down in the comments. I hope to see you guys again soon. Bye!